everyone. I know I kind of disappeared again, especially after saying there was some stuff I really wanted to talk about. And I feel bad, but if I'm being honest, 2024 was a really rough year for me, especially at the end. So I figured what better way to start 2025 than with the best and worst animes of the year video. And of course, where else to start than the worst of list? Wait, that's just going to make me feel angrier and piss me off more and make me hate life more. Oh, well, here we are. So I should obviously establish some ground rules. First and foremost, I do not go out of my way to watch bad anime. Everything I pick up during the year is something that I either thought was genuinely going to be good, or at the very least was popular enough that I felt like it was worth trying to see what all the hype was about. So if this list seems different from a lot of your generic bad isekais or awful death game show lists, that's why. So yeah, let's just get right onto it. So starting off the list are the shows that honestly really weren't that bad, or I didn't even really have a bad time with. Just I felt like they didn't live up to the standard I felt they should have been, nor even that honestly the shows themselves set up for. And as much as I know as it's popular to hate on Demon Slayer Hashira training arc, yeah, it's not very good. I just feel like above all else, and again, there's stuff I liked. I like the Giyu stuff, I like the Stone Hashira stuff, but I feel like the cracks are really starting to show with this series. There's the fact that the paper thinness of the plot is becoming very apparent. The fact the show really doesn't really know what to do with a lot of its main characters like Nezuko or Inosuke and Zenitsu, I think is really starting to become a problem. And just the over-bloated nature of how they adapted these chapters to the fact that the finale, while epic, is just a big tease for 3 separate movies they want you to buy tickets for, I think is really just starting to leave a bad taste in people's mouths, and honestly mine too. So for number 9, we've got, I remember liking the first season of bottom tier character Tomazaki, so when I saw season 2 was coming out, I'm like, yeah, let's see this. Let's see if I remember anything about this show, and yeah, there's not a huge impression left by this. Don't get me wrong, it can be very funny at times. I like all the characters. Girls are mad cute in this, but for the most part, its premise is kind of used up. So it just ends up trying to be another Oragairu, which I've noticed a lot of rom-com shows, when they don't know what else to do, try and be like that one. And because of this, I kind of feel like it doesn't leave a strong impression, and it just ends up feeling like another one, which is sad because I feel like it wastes the premise. But like I said, it is still funny. The characters are still likable. And, if you like cute girls in your anime, you'll be satisfied with this. Rounding off the letdown category is the Demon Prince of Momochi House. I remember seeing the premiere for this one at Anime NYC, being pretty excited to see where it was going to go. And when it was over, it was just kind of, nothing really bad, but like nothing really good. Like just a by the numbers, like reverse harem shoujo. It doesn't really do a lot with its concepts, just kind of follows the tropes. And when it was over, I was just kind of like, well, that happened. And that's how I sum up this section of the list. It is the shows that just kind of happened. So for number 7, we leave the realm of simply disappointing and move to, yeah, this is kind of bad. And first up, we have the many sides of voice actor radio. Now, on the one hand, I do really respect this show for having some genuine good moments to it, and also trying to actually be a commentary on idol culture. However, it does not commit. It does not go for the throat. It still tries to give this just kind of rose-tinted view of what the whole thing is, and there's just the occasional problem. And because it does not commit, I don't really ever feel like its social commentary is really well thought out or presented to us in a great way, and that's because I don't think the show really wants to. The anime industry and the idol industry are so intertwined in how they try to appeal to people that I don't know if a show will ever actually be able to go full on it, and well, that sucks, because this could have been that. So for number 6, we have just the bizarre ride that is Arifureta. I watched all 3 seasons back to back, and yeah, most people are pretty aware at this point that this show is supposed to be ironic. You're supposed to just laugh at its sheer stupidity, and even it will to pretty regularly. And maybe this is just because I watched 3 seasons and there's still like 4 episodes to go of season 3, but I'm kind of done with the joke. It does wear thin after a while, and to the point where I am just kind of like, all right, I get it. Can we please kind of just move on to something else? Number 5 is Alia sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. First half was funny. Second half wasn't. It's a romantic comedy. That's a problem. That's it. Got nothing else. Moving on. So for number 4, now we're into things I really didn't like. And starting off the list, I'm kind of breaking my usual rule, and that is I usually avoid putting card game anime on these lists because, well, I kind of talk about them a lot. But I really didn't like Cardfight Vanguard Divine Season 2. Maybe it's the first half that was nothing but boring one-off fights with uninteresting characters, or maybe it's the second half where we crammed so much crap into such a small amount of episodes, it felt like a genuine insult to the viewer's intelligence. All I know is I really didn't like this, and it really pissed me off. Coming in at number 3 was my biggest example this year of all my hopes and expectations being squandered in front of me with Metallic Rouge. This show just sucks. It really sucks. I literally just, as the year went by, would just wake up in a cold sweat just being like, why was this so bad? Why is it such a mess? How did they fuck up this badly? It's a Toku-inspired sci-fi waifu action fest, and it just ends up being just absolute dog shit. Mess of a plot, uninteresting characters. This show completely falls apart very quickly, and you just sit there wondering, how does such a good pedigree of talent go to waste? Well, I don't know, and I don't want to think about it any longer than I have to, because I don't want to think about this turd ever again. So full disclosure, number 2 and number 1 are pretty fucking interchangeable. This is just how I'm feeling at the moment. But for right now, up next, we're going to talk about Failure Frame. I'm not saying there was that fucking god-awful title. I hate isekai. I know I say this all the time, but I really do. And the fact that crap like this can show up and still get pretty popular, all things considered, yeah, it's enough to really piss me off. And like, that's just kind of my reaction to the show. My other reaction was a lot of times it was so bad, it was pretty fucking funny. But then every time I would laugh at how bad it was, a part of me was then like, yeah, like I'm still watching something bad. I'm still watching something with no creativity or effort put into it that just exists to continue the trend of this god-awful genre. So I'm gonna put a stop to it right now and tell y'all, don't watch this. It's really bad. Honestly, like, and again, we had a couple good isekai this time around, but like, Arifureta works because it's ironic and it acknowledges this and has fun with it. This show is taking itself dead serious, and well, it results in just god-awful dog shit. Number 1, people. And I'm sure many of you are thinking, really this? Why is this the worst thing of the year? Well, allow me to explain. The reason A Condition Called Love is still here, because I'll be honest, I have spent the past 6 months honestly asking myself, is this really that bad? Does this really get to be called the worst show of the year? And the answer is yes. And in addition to everything I said in that video, I have a new reason that I will share with you all today. And that is that I actually decided to check out the manga. Yeah, enough people are like, you gotta give it a try. It's a lot better. Just see what you think. And here's what I'll say. While I don't think the problematic aspects of this relationship ever really go away, and you do always kind of feel that awkward uncomfortableness just by nature of what this story is about, I did feel reading it. I felt like everyone felt more fleshed out. I felt like you understood more why people make the decisions they make and what led everyone to the point they are when we meet them. It's not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than this. This is an anime adaptation that genuinely needed a director, actors, and animators who were fully on board with adapting a story that can make people uncomfortable. We did not get that. We got a bunch of lazy yes men just making a shoujo because shoujos have been gaining more traction lately. And that's about all I have to say about it. This show is the worst because it felt like the least creative, least well-intended show I watched all goddamn fucking year. But in the comment section below, give me your thoughts on what was the worst for you. I'm sure several people are going to like stuff that was on this list. That's totally fine. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next time for the best of list.